Hey junior hires, how you doing out there? So glad to join you this weekend. Man, I hope that you guys are able to join us live at our Saturday night services, 4 to 5:30. We'd love to start seeing you there more, like even this weekend. Just so glad. But hey, I'm glad for those who are joining us. Really just want to open this up in a word of prayer and let's get started. Dear God, I just want to thank you so much for who you are. Lord, I just pray as we continue to dig into Ephesians, Lord, that you would just work in our lives. We love you so much in your name. Amen. You know, I was thinking about a story for this weekend, and it reminds me of a story I tell. You know, there's this story about this guy that is getting older in his age, and he's from England, and he hears news of the 1849 gold rush in California. And he's thinking through and he goes, oh my goodness, this is my chance to maybe get rich, to strike it rich, never have to work again. So he sells everything he has, takes a boat across the ocean, gets to America, takes a train all the way to California, buys his supplies, and he starts working hard, mining for gold. And I mean, months go by. Year or two goes by, and all of a sudden this guy gets lucky. He strikes it rich. He finds this gold vein with so much gold that he'll never have to work again. So he takes this gold and he's like on his way back to England with the idea of, listen, I'm going to buy a house, settle down, I'm done. And he's on his way back and he's getting on the train, and the train stops in New Orleans. And when he gets off the train in New Orleans, he's getting down the steps and he looks to the side. There's this like commotion over there. And he, for the first time ever, he realized, he's shocked. He sees it's a slave auction. You see, he's in England. The slavery has been banned for years now. Never experienced slavery. And now he's in America and he's witnessing this slave auction. And he's like, what the heck? And he's going over there and he's shocked by this. And he's in the back and he's watching them auction off slaves. Crazy. And all of a sudden, the auctioneer says, and for our last slave, we're going to bring up this one girl. And it was this beautiful girl that is young, slave girl coming up. And as she's being brought up, you have these two guys in the front that are kind of bantering, talking bad about this girl. Kind of like, no, I'm going to get this girl. I'm going to get this girl. And you can kind of see they're talking probably some sexual tones to her or something like that. And you're watching this auction, and quickly it becomes it's between these two guys. I mean, they're just raising the price. I mean, it's getting more than what a slave girl back then was probably worth. And now they're talking like, you don't have the money, she's mine, and stuff like that. And it's kind of gross, perverse, all that stuff. And the auctioneer finally gets to where one guy has bid enough money. That guy's like, dude, I can't have her, she's yours. And the auctioneer goes, going once, going twice. And then the guy in the back yells, double what he offered. Just yells it out. And the crowd's stunned. And he's just this old miner. Like, he's dirty. Like, he's just been done mining for a year or two out there. And the auctioneer's like, well, how do I know you have that money? Come show it right now. And he's like, all right. And he comes up, in his bag of gold, and he pours out half his gold to the auctioneer. And the auctioneer looks at it and he goes, okay, she's yours. And all the crowd's like stunned, like, oh my goodness, look at this dirty old man. Wonder what he's going to do with her. And he goes up to grab her, and he grabs her, and she just looks at him and is like, doesn't want anything to do with him. She's just like disgusted, this slave girl, and he grabs her and is like, come with me. And he's like running through the town, and she doesn't know what's going on. And he's going through the town, he's trying to look for something, and she knows, she's wondering, what the heck's this? And he comes to a spot, and he stops and says, stay right here. And she watches him go into this store. And as he goes in the store, you see him starts arguing with the guy at the desk. And the guy's like, sir, I can't do that. That's illegal. You're not allowed to do that in the state of New Orleans. And you see this going back and forth. And then you see him pour the rest of his gold out on the table. And the guy go, all right. And you see him work up a document. And as he comes out to the woman and he goes, here. And she takes that paper and she spits in his face. She goes, I'm not going to marry you. I'm never going to marry you. And he goes, no, look at the paper. And she's like, what? He's like, you can't read, can you? And she says, no. He goes, let me read it to you. He says, this document says that you are free. You are free. Not married to me, you are free. And she just looks at him in shock, and she just gets down on her knees and just tears coming going out like, why would you do this? Why would you buy me to set me free? And it's a great analogy, a great story of a slave girl being bought to be set free. And I love this analogy is we talk about we're going through the book of Ephesians, and if you come this weekend, we're gonna be digging in deeper. But this analogy of Paul is coming to a place in Ephesians chapter 2 as we continue our mystery series. And he's talking about how, guys, listen, because you're sinners, you're slaves to sin. You're following the devil. You're not worthy of heaven. You're not worthy of anything. You're a slave. But he says in Ephesians 2:8-9, he says this, but it is for by grace you have been saved through faith, not of yourselves. It is a gift of God. And he talks about, he says, listen, God had compassion and mercy on us, and he decided to have grace on us. In fact, here's the thing is God had something called amazing grace. His grace is so amazing that if you don't know what grace even means, grace means getting what you don't deserve. We don't deserve heaven. We don't deserve a gift from God, because Paul is clear in Ephesians 2. He said, guess what? You are sinners. We are not worthy. I want you to understand something. We're not worthy of heaven. Some of you guys are like, but I'm a good person. You're not good enough. I'm better than most people. You're not good enough. I'm not good enough. No matter, I'm a pastor. Guys, I'm a nice person. I do so many amazing things for others, and I'm not good enough. And God said, even though you're sinners, even though you're a slave, I am going to set you free with his amazing, amazing grace. And I love it. Paul says, not of works, so you can't boast. God said, I did it for you. You can't even boast. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing. All you can do is accept it. It says right here, for we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. He says, hey, I'm going to set you free. Now go do good works. But it's because of me. Listen, I want you to understand something. God has amazing grace for us. He has this idea that says, you're not worthy, but because of me, because I came down to you and my son died on the cross for you, you get this free gift. And now you are worthy. Now you're my kid. Now you're my son. Now you're my daughter. You inherit. You get my kingdom, even though you didn't deserve it. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing to think. I love Ephesians because Paul's just so clear. Look, there's nothing you can do, but I'm going to give you my grace. I'm going to give you heaven, even though it's not worth it. I'm going to let you in my family. I'm going to let you be united with, we're going to be united, and it's going to be amazing. And that's what I gave you for free, even though you weren't worth it. But in the midst of that, I want to remind you that he's given us grace, but he expects us to show that same grace to others. So we need to first be able to go, God, thank you so much you did this for me. But on the flip side, go, but God, help me to be more gracious with others. Just a quick reminder, we want to see you on our weekend services. We want you digging in. In fact, if you want, I would encourage you to be reading along with us. Read chapter 2 this week. Just read it a couple times. And just see, Paul's big on, listen, it's not because of you, it's because of God. We're so blessed. I hope today I could encourage you to do that. Dear God, I just thank you for these students. Lord, sometimes we're going to struggle, Lord. Some of us need to hear we're not worthy because sometimes we think we're good enough, and some of us think we're not worthy. And Lord, no matter what they think in their mind, Lord, you're like, but I love you. I came down for you. I sent my son to die on the cross for you. Even though you weren't worthy, you were worthy because I chose to do it for you. And now you get to be a part of my family. You get the rewards of heaven. Lord, thank you for what you've done. We love you so much in your name.